I'm Luke. I'd just like to talk about my coming out experience, or as much of it as I can, and also what it's been like for me to be gay. I'd also like to try and keep it short, but cover quite a lot as well, because one, my internet connection is slow, and two, I want people to just really focus on what's important, and I really want to talk about everything, but I can't. So basically, I'd just like to say that for me, being gay, especially recently, because over the last year I found myself, it's been really positive for me. Like, I've really enjoyed all the gay prides, going out on gay nights out, just meeting other people who are similar to me, and realising you're not alone, and also having just supportive friends and family, like my mum and my brother. They've like been completely accepting. So I'd like to say thank you to all those people first. You know who you are. Also, I'd just like to say that before I get into like some of the more deep stuff, I'd like to say that I've just really enjoyed like expressing myself, was been more confident as well, like painting my nails, just having my hair long and how I want it, wearing makeup, just wearing stuff like fishnet tights for pride, and just wearing what I want on a day-to-day basis as well. Yeah. So basically, even though everyone thinks, oh yeah, because I'm out and proud and I'm quite like sassy and camp and gay and stuff, it's been quite an easy experience. But I think even now it's still hard, because you still get horrible homophobic people. Still not everyone I know accepts who I am, and also I'm still accepting myself in a way, because I think you do get that negative voice every so often that tells you that you should be like everyone else, or that you I don't know, just that you should try and fit in a bit more, and because it does take a lot of confidence to be yourself, especially I think anyway, especially if you're different to everyone else. But yeah, so I had a lot of trouble at school because of the way that I looked. I used to be a bit more overweight, and I've always had long hair since year 7, so I got trouble for that. It was just mainly, what I found as the main problem is just being called just gay over and over. This is why, one of the reasons why it took me ages to finally say yes, I am gay, because people just associated the word gay with being negative, and no one in high school was really, it was like all the teachers or anything, no one really was like a gay role model, if I'm honest. There were a few people who came out, but it's just a very straight environment, and hopefully that will change in the future, because being young and not knowing yourself is really one of the worst things ever, because you feel like you're alone and it's not going to get any better. But now I know it does, but I know some people might still think that, and I really want to help people learn to accept themselves and be happy for who they are, like I am now. And also, so basically, yeah, it was just basically a few examples, people just saying gay, gay, gay all the time, and it just got to me, and I know this sounds bad, but it made me feel embarrassed, just not because of the word gay exactly, but just because of I wasn't sure of myself as well, and I didn't want to be called something that I wasn't sure of yet. I hadn't even thought about myself. I did obviously have sexual feelings for men, but I sort of suppressed them a bit, and I liked girls, because obviously I thought that was the norm as well. But nowadays I'm like, fuck the norm, who cares? And basically, so now I'm just like, yeah, sorry, that's a train of thought. But basically I was just like, oh, and then it got quite serious at one point. It was like every day, and I was dreading like classes, and it's basically this one guy just kept kicking my back and kicking me for ages, and like the headmaster almost noticed, but he probably did, but he didn't really care anyway. So I just felt like that was the breaking point at one of my first schools. I was just like, I can't do this anymore if it's getting towards like physical and no one's doing anything about it. And also people were just being really disrespectful and saying stupid things to me, like oh, if you help me out of this work, I'll use the term, I'll stick my cock up your bum. So people being just really disrespectful like that and just not treating you like a human. And that's one of the main things I've always suffered with, people just not treating you like a human, and people just treating you like some like animal in a zoo, and even though you haven't done anything wrong at all, but you don't realise at the time, you think that you're doing something wrong, but it's nothing to do with you. It's those people for being horrible just because they can, basically, and because they don't like who you are. Well, that shouldn't affect what you think of yourself, and unfortunately it does. Well, that's what I found anyway. It does affect your self-esteem and what you think of yourself, and because at the time I wasn't sure who I was or who I was interested in. I just wanted to get on with things and make out of high school alive, basically. I'm sure that's what a lot of people want. And I also got an instance of like being like dry humped against a wall in front of everyone as a joke, because I wasn't really seen as a person. I was just seen as like someone to laugh at and just make jokes about, because I wasn't like everyone else. So I had to move schools eventually, because it was basically that every day, and there's other worse examples, but I won't go into it. I moved school, that was a bit better, but it's still the same thing. In terms of like fancying people as well, that was pretty harsh. I first realised I liked guys in year 10. It was this one boy I was like really obsessed with. Luckily nothing bad happened there, but I didn't really understand what was going on. I just thought, oh, it was just that one boy I liked, but then I realised it was guys. It was still, the first stage was basically, oh, I just like guys, but that's it, and it sort of had to be secretive still. And then the next stage was obviously being able to say I'm gay, which I was able to say eventually. But then first it was, and then next it was this guy I was friends with. He was quite horrible about it. When he eventually found out that I fancied him, he was just like, oh, I accept that you're gay, but don't look at me in that way. And he's basically quite harsh when we've been friends for ages, and it's basically treating me as if like I had some like disease, or as if something was wrong with me. And so I thought, oh, I must be unattractive then, and no one will ever like me. But just to let anyone know that if you hold tight, and if you get help and support, and you start to be kinder to yourself, that does get better. It did for me anyway, because now I can accept that yes, people will find me attractive just like anyone else, because I've had quite a few experiences lately with like kissing guys, and also been on a couple of dates as well. So I'm beginning to, because that is another different part of it. First it's accepting yourself, then the other part is being able to go on dates and finding yourself attractive, which I'm still working on that part, and letting other people find you attractive. Because basically initially it's to feel like you deserve love and deserve to be who you are just as much as anyone else does. It doesn't matter what your sexuality is, or your appearance, or your personality. And then so basically, yeah, there's that. In terms of my parents, my mum's really supportive of me. We've gone to gay prides together, and we do writing together. Writing helps both of us, with some of our experiences we've had. And with my writing, I choose to channel like topics in terms of like coming out and being gay and being yourself. So hopefully it's helped me, and hopefully it'll help other people. And in terms of my dad, he hasn't really been accepting. Well, he could have been worse, but he just basically said, I accept you for who you are, but I don't understand it. And that's just not okay. It's not respectful to say that. It might not be the worst thing to say, but it's not respectful, and it's still treating someone as if like who they're like is not okay. So if you are coming out to your parents, just know that you should just give them a chance at first, but in the end it's your life, and if they don't accept it, that's their problem, and the same goes with anyone else who doesn't accept it. It's not really accepting it to go, I accept it but I don't understand it, because that's being a bit ignorant and disrespectful. So just know in the end you've got to put yourself first and surround yourself with positive people, and people who accept you and love you 100%. It doesn't matter if they love you, everything apart from that, that's not being accepting if they don't like that one part. It's harder than it seems though, because we're family members and close friends. But part of being happy is finding your people and people who love you no matter what. I would say, yeah, that's mostly, I've covered most of the things because I don't want to go too over. I would say one last thing is though that I want to raise awareness about hate crimes and being attacked, because at my prom in year 13 I ended up getting headbutted and assaulted at the end of the prom when I was on my own for just 1 second. I hadn't done anything all night to provoke this person. They had bullied me throughout high school, calling me gay and stuff, and I just thought at the time it was my fault for looking this way, for acting this way, and I didn't think this could happen to me because I was safe, I was at my own prom and we were all adults by now. But I just want to raise awareness and say that this can happen to anyone, no matter who you are, what you've done or where you are. People need to take this as a serious issue. I mean, look at Russia and Jerusalem and what's happened there lately. People shouldn't be attacked at their own prom or anywhere, or people shouldn't not feel safe just because of who they are, because they can't help it, and everyone should just be able to be who they are without any violence or feeling scared or feeling like should be ashamed of themselves. It's just not right. And so basically, yeah, I don't really want to go into too much of that experience because of sort of even though it was horrible at the time, I don't think it's sort of should define my whole coming out experience, because that's just someone being so hateful with themselves they've turned it on to someone else. So yeah, I want to raise awareness also about bullying as well, because even if it's the smallest bullying incident, or if it's just, if people think it's a joke, I think it's never okay to bully someone for being gay or for something that they can't help, because you don't know what effect it's having on them, especially if they're young and they don't know who they are. I would also like to say thanks for listening to me, and I'm sorry it couldn't be longer, but I wanted to try and cover the main points and just get my story across. I would just like to say that it's always okay to be who you are, and there's nothing wrong with being who you are, and if anyone says otherwise, then the only thing wrong with that is them, not you. So don't be afraid to be who you are, or be yourself, and don't be afraid to like anyone. And even if you aren't ready to come out, that's okay too, because everyone's different and everyone should live their life how they want. Okay, thank you.